What's up, everybody? Welcome to Blade Talk with Scab and Joe. Sit back, relax. We got a pretty good show here. What's up, everybody? I hope you guys are hearing me okay. We had some, sorry we're starting up late here. Welcome to Blade Talk, by the way, with Scab and Joe. Had some problems with Tyler's mic. He couldn't get his mic hooked up, so he kind of left the room to see if he could work that out. I do have Scab waiting at the wings here. But before we start, guys, as you know, hashtag 22 a day no more. We support our veterans on Blade Talk and all our patron channels. So veterans is a place for you here. And Scab, let me get you into the room. What's up, my friend? Good to see you, my friend.
Hey, what's going on, man? What's going on to everybody in the chat? Glad y'all are here. Thank you for your patience. Hopefully we can get Tyler squared away. I'm looking forward to talking with him. He's got some interesting stuff. Grugs, what's up? Charles, BC, Samurai. Man, good seeing everybody. Keith Carpenter, thank y'all for being in here again. Thank you for your patience, and we should get this thing going pretty good. So, Joe,
Yes.
What's new, buddy? What's going on? Tell me something good and exciting.
Nothing is new. Nothing is new, man. I mean, finally crossed over the 2,000 mark today, which, I'm pretty happy about. It's got a lot more to go. Got to keep on growing and going on. But I'm glad at least I passed over that 2,000 sub hump, which is good. And thank you guys for all your congratulations. And even before that, guys, thanks for all your support. And I say it all the time, but I can't say it enough. If not for you guys kind of supporting my channel, supporting my work, supporting, commenting, and just, staying through the shorts and the lives and all that stuff, I could not be here, where I am. So I thank you guys and I appreciate everything. So Tyler's in the room. Let me see if I can get him in, if his audio is working. Tyler, did you get, I see you in the bottom. Did you get your audio working? Can I get you in? Looks like you did. All right, let's try to get him into the room. All right, guys, hold on a sec. Oh, yeah, I hear you there, buddy.
Hey, what's up?
What happened? You switched to your phone?
What's going on, man?
I threw my phone on the laptop and tried it that way.
When in doubt, switch to your freaking phone. The phone always works, man.
Yeah, man.
Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. This is the first time we're officially talking to you live. So obviously I'm going to be learning about you as everybody else is learning about you simultaneously. So really looking forward to it, bud.
Welcome in, man.
Are you going in and out again, man?
Did we lose you? John Peters, what's up?
What's up, John? What's up, Matt? Samurai Bird, thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. Thank you, Jerbs.
We got you, Tyler?
We had you.
Hey,
there you go.
We had you.
There you go.
Are you there?
It's tries a charm, right?
Say testing 1, 2.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So on the
Tyler, where are you at in the world?
I am on Joint Base Lewis McChord up in Washington State.
Okay. How long you been up that way?
We've been here for just short of 2 years. I'm originally from Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
But I've been in the Army for the last 15 years, so they moved me all over the place,
Oh, so you're currently in the Army right now?
Yep.
Okay.
How long have you been doing knives? Blood Knives, welcome in.
I started in 2011. It didn't really kick off, like getting better at it and refining the skill for a couple of years. So it was probably 2014 before I started really, chasing after getting better at it and reaching out to other makers and learning more about it.
How did you initially start it up? Like what? Yeah, go ahead, Scab.
So it started in actually Afghanistan of all places.
Okay.
I made like a trophy. Okay. I got to lean in here on the phone so I can hear it. So sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead. I can hear
If
you
you
better
catch
when
some
you do
glare from my head or something.
that. Well, we're all there with you. That's why we're
Hey. Yeah, so I made like a big machete kind of thing, and we like plasma welded it out, and it was real rough grind. It had like a mechanic rag and some paracord for handle and stuff, but it was a trophy for like a physical competition kind of, CrossFit Games type thing we were doing. And I just wanted to have something crazy to give to one of the soldiers when they won, right? So I had hid it underneath a pallet, and who the guy won, and I like pull the thing out, like, hey, guess what? You won this cool, crazy thing. And when I saw everybody's eyes do this, I got a taste of what it's like when your work's really appreciated. And that was when I was like, I'm going to see if I can't actually make something legitimate. And then over time, I just got more and more into it. And so then it became, well, how much better of a knife could I make? And then, how many different kinds of knives or what kind of weird materials could I use? It just kept rolling down the road to where I'm at now.
That's interesting.
So let me ask you this.
Go ahead, Scab. I'm sorry.
Here, I'll tell you what, give me a minute, Joe, and then I'll give you a minute, and that's the way we'll work it.
Go ahead.
Tyler, I watched a video of yours the other day, and you're doing, I think, a series where you're making 20 knives. Is that right?
Oh, yeah. Right now I'm doing a limited run of 10.
Okay. Now, when you do that, I get it, and being in the Army, that answers a couple of questions for me. I didn't know if this is what you did full time. But I can imagine it takes up a massive amount of time. Give me a little feedback, man, on like this run of 10 you're doing. What inspires that? How do you come up with that? Do you draw all day? Give me a little background on that.
Okay. Yeah.
The Army might be censoring him. Right. We lost you again, brother.
Yeah, I don't hear you, bud. What'd you do different?
We'll get it figured. We'll make sure we get this figured out because I want to make sure we get Tyler on. Guys, listen. Here's the deal. Until we get this thing worked out, what I want to do is with Tyler, your mic's mute. Can you tell him that, Joe?
Yeah. Let me
see how his microphone.
Yeah, try to unmute it.
There you
go. Yeah, much better.
There you go.
So
hey, listen, we went through this last night, so let's go ahead and redo, and we'll go on with it. We're fine.
Okay, cool. So this current thing I'm doing, I'm going to start on the big, and then I'll zero into it. So when I started, everything was a custom, right? Everything was one of one, and that was it, right? And it just whatever I cooked up in my head. Then after that, I started trying to refine that, where I was making similar knives, and then I started actually saying, okay, this is a design. I'm going to name it, and then I'm going to start serializing it and building it, right? Then the idea of those designs being refined, that's when it started really happening for me, because I would have a very complex design, right? Because I guess, I don't know, it's my autism, right? I always want to put every feature in the knife I possibly can, but then they're all competing with each other. And so that's a real challenge to simplify it back down. Especially when you get into a hard use knife, like all that crazy stuff you're doing, Scab, where you're chopping stuff up, you're going to get hot spots in your hand, or crazy stuff's going to happen if it's too feature rich of a design. So when I initially draw something that's crazy, and then I'll start chopping away stuff and refining it until I get to a good balance point. So currently with the one I'm doing, I call it the Jarl. I did a video kind of explaining that, but it's a Norse inspired design, and it's a limited run because I wanted to make it as exclusive and special as I could, and finite.
Yeah.
if I make it only 10, those 10 will be the only 10 that exist, right? So now I kind of have an excuse to like really overbuild them and make it thematic by having it, Norse themed and named. And I have like the runes for Jarl that'll get laser engraved on it and stuff. And so I take a very simple design and then I build it up in drama with, the rest of how it's going to work. Simple design, complex, crazy build, limited run. And that way, for my 10 customers that get one, it's not just a one-off special because there's only one. It's a one-off special because there's only 10 that'll ever get done, right? And so as I continue to grow and do bigger and greater things as far as being a maker, this will be a mark in time for my style and my skill and everything else.
Well, the thing that stuck out to now, and I want to make sure, the one thing we want to make sure is I don't want anything misleading. Are you making 2 plus 10? Because I thought you said you're going to make you and a partner one, and then the other 10 will be serialized.
Yeah, there's the run of 10 is serialized 1 of 10 through 10 of 10. Okay. There are 2 that I'm making that'll be completely different material, right? Not serialized, mono steel. One's for me, just for a keepsake, and one is for my buddy Joel at Grit City Knives, who has helped me in like so much I can't even put it into words. And he loved the design and really got behind it, so that's a gift to him. And then there's the prototype. So in all, there will be 13 total, but there will only be 10 serialized. The prototype won't have a serialized marking on it. And the 2 that are not, that you're talking about, they won't have serial numbers or any of the other special markings. They're not being sold. They're, it's not in circulation or anything. Right. Yeah. So the now one
is that typical?
What's that, Scab?
I'm sorry. Is that typical for you to do? Is that typical? Like when you start on, you make you one, or okay.
No, it's a whole new.
I didn't know if maybe you kept one.
No, I started, like I said, all custom stuff, random, right? Like I got a couple knives I randomly grabbed. So I'll have like this guy here. I just picked a random shape I felt like doing, and I grabbed some materials and I made a random 1 of 1 utility knife, right? It's not a named model. It doesn't have a customer. I had a period where I couldn't work on anything else for whatever reason, so I just started making that one. And that's how I do everything. But then I got into having, a work queue and a couple of named models and all that other stuff. So the Jarl is just the new sort of genesis of that. Like I wanted to pour more creative energy into it, and try to make it more special and more of a big deal. So it's the first time I've done this.
Okay. Joe, did you? I don't want to cut you off. Go ahead.
No. Everything is flowing. I just because I know there's a lot of people that tune in that are also trying to get started. I know Captain Captain Electro's. I think he's off of work and he's in the room today. And I know Bird had made a comment. Actually, let me just kind of bring his up here. No,
well, Jerbs does too.
Yeah, Jerbs is also into the whole thing. But people, here it is. My brother is starting to forge, but he's looking for another. Any suggestions? Basically, people are just wondering about getting. A lot of people have the niche of really getting into kind of making their own stuff. Yeah. Especially Captain Electro, and he did a great job. I mean, first time going, he actually made a pretty nice knife. Any advice you can give people in terms of getting started? What they should start with, where they should shop for, what they should basically have housed in order to get going in like this whole venture of making knives. I think he froze again.
That's all right.
Actually, we wanted this answer. Hopefully, we get him back.
We'll get back.
I got you.
He's
Go ahead.
Back.
Go ahead.
So it dropped right at the beginning of the question.
I just basically, just to rehash, a lot of people in the room are tuning in because they also are trying to get into making knives. Any suggestions you have in terms of somebody getting started, how they should approach it, what they should house to get started, like should they get going, and in terms of making their own stuff?
That's like my favorite question to answer, actually.
Yeah, and I'm glad I asked it.
Well, with my getting started in knife making, I had an exceptional amount of support and help, right? And I always meditate on how thankful I was for that. And I had people bring me in tell me to bring the notebook, buy this, don't buy that, do this, don't do that. And they
Dun, 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 dun.
I had the
roll
same.
along here till it comes.
Go ahead. You're in now, bud.
So
Continue.
losing me when that happens
You're in
on your
again.
end?
Yeah. Go ahead. You're in.
Cool. So the best advice I could give in short is that you need to identify what you want out of it, right? And what are you really trying to do? So some people come in and they want to make money and they're just looking for a way to do it. There's a specific route for that. Some people want to make art, kind of the opposite of that. They want to make art and they don't care about making money.
Right.
There's a different way to approach that. So if you start with figuring out why you're in here, you're going to start from a position of being correctly aligned with what the next steps are for you, right? Where you're going to spend your money, what types of tools you're going to buy, what kind of businesses and people you're going to network with. All of that stuff will have an azimuth or a direction if you kind of meditate on why you're doing this in the first place. And if you don't know, that's okay, right? But by meditating on that and thinking about it for a second, you'll identify you don't know. And then okay, start from understanding yourself, right? I don't really know why I'm doing this. I just think knives are cool.
Right.
Totally awesome. Let's do it, right? So if I don't know why I'm in here doing this, but I'm going to go do it, now I can start shaping what I'm going to do. So I'm going to try to spend less on my tools. I'm going to focus on what I must have in order to make my first blade. And then depending on how well that works and what I get out of it is if I'm going to keep investing in tools and product and material and time, right? If I want in here to make money, I need to figure out where is a good place for me to do this without a lot of overhead, right? And do I want to bring other people into it or not? And I'm going to be focused a lot on marketing and all these other pieces. And if I'm in it to make art, right, I need to get skill rich. So I need to network with people who have way more talent than me. And I need to specifically address them in a way where they understand I respect them and I want to learn from them so I can create art, right? But if you start from knowing better yourself and why you're in it, then you can adjust the way that you're coming at this game so that it serves you right instead of spinning your wheels over nothing.
Right.
Well, that's a great point.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great point.
100%.
And I wanted to ask you too, and I've never really thought about it that way. I guess thinking about making a knife, I could be totally wrong. I can't imagine many people jump into it going, "Hey, I'm just doing this to make money to begin with." Now, some may, but I might be totally wrong. Hell, I am most of the time, but I would think a lot of people start from that artistic. Hey, I know, like with Captain Electro, we mentioned Cap.
Yeah.
Cap's he's a critical thinking guy. So he's thought this through. He's got that engineering mind. What do you find most people start for? The creative, the busy energy,
So from my experience, most people start with it because they have a fascination with the blade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They don't even know where to place it or how to categorize it. They see a knife. Yeah. That's all they know.
Right.
They want to see if they can make that thing.
Right.
Right. And usually those people start with a file and they're doing some goofy stuff like this and it's brutal on them. They don't get to experience making. They just sweat and make a mess.
Right.
That's where most of the people that I've talked with or met or watched in videos or whatever else start with. It's like they just have a fascination with knives, or they're a collector, or whatever else it might be, and then they kind of feel it out from there. There is a lot of people that get into this trying to find a industry to go make some money in, and those people are usually pretty savvy with the rest of business other than our specific industry, right? So they may have multiple companies, that they just a little bit in this place, a little bit of that, and they're like, well, maybe I could get do a new startup with some knives. They look like they have kind of a low cost to get into. People bring a lot of things that are very valuable externally into the knife industry, and it works really well, and so they can make money really fast. And generally, they make a pretty good product too, just because they're invested in making sure it's worth whatever they're charging.
Right.
But I think I'd say probably 80% of the time, it's just people that love knives and they want to see if they can do it.
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, you're in a room full of people that love knives. Whether Joe reviews swords, I review knives.
Yeah.
And just kind of looking over here, we're blessed with Blade Talk. We have a lot of content creators, and we all come from that place. We all might like different things, right?
Yeah.
But we all love the blade. We're all drawn to the blades. We're all drawn to there's that deep connection,
Most people I talk to get to this point where we're at, if I say like, well, why are you getting kind of thing? Yeah. They say they don't know. Like, I don't know, man. I just want to do it. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's when
it's a calling. They feel it.
I got you, man. Like, I know exactly where you're at. So buy this, don't buy it, right? Try it this way. If it works, do it 4 more times. If that works, upgrade something.
Yeah.
I got you.
I think most of these guys in the room basically, they get to a point where you love knives so much, you love the blades, and you feel like you want to just do your own. You feel like you just want to get your hands wet.
Yeah.
And hands dirty rather, and really start doing your own.
Well, like knife sharpening is a funny way to parallel this, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of these guys that are about start with sharpening. They go way deep into sharpening, right? They start trying to figure out all the angles. They go by a wicked edge. They're like, oh, this side needs to be this angle, but this side needs to be this angle, and a kitchen blade, and they're way into that whole piece. They want a mirror edge, right? Because they're focused on that finite little piece, and they can make it perfect. And then they want to crack out into making the thing.
Now, do you stay pretty slammed, Tyler?
Oh yeah,
do you stay pretty booked up
all the time?
And so, would it be, if somebody wanted to get with you, would Instagram be the right? Because I know you have a good Instagram presence.
Yeah.
And if somebody wanted to say order.
Yeah, I do. I go mostly through Instagram. I just cracked out into YouTube, mostly because of you guys, actually. I started posting stuff on YouTube. Most of it's the same or similar content. But I do want to start doing like a fireside chat thing on my YouTube channel. So if people...
What is your YouTube channel?
Yeah.
It's th_bladecraft is one word.
So is it the same as your Instagram page?
Yes.
So, okay. So
let's
guys,
get a link to that up.
Well, if you could find it, you see on the bottom of the screen here, th_bladecraft, that's the name of the YouTube page, correct?
Yep.
If you could, Gerbs, if you can find that and post that in there, so we could get some traffic on your YouTube channel.
Got this guy on it, so you'll see that.
Okay, that symbol. All right. Yeah, if it's the same as what's scrolling on the screen, Gerbs, you should be able to find that there. Absolutely.
So, like, if people want to talk about, how to get into it, or what tools do what, or have questions or whatever else, I love having that conversation. And I'm totally down to do that. Prefer to do it through my YouTube.
Right.
But yeah, Instagram's where I do my primary like engagement with people.
Right.
And the books are pretty much pushed out as far as I like them to get.
Right.
Yeah. Well, tell us about that. And one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, Tyler, is we want to try to get as many makers, American makers and designers on as we can, because there's not only people just going into it, but like from Joe's perspective, from my perspective, I review a knife a certain way,
Yeah.
right? And probably always will because I enjoy that. But I
Your
like
We're not.
delving a little different. Huh?
I said, "Your Scab, we're not."
That's it. Well, there you go. But I want the info. Everybody like, and I'll tell you this, and I know this to be true. Everybody likes knowing a guy.
Yeah.
Whether it's the knife industry, you know what I'm saying?
I do.
So as much as you could provide. Now you forge these, correct?
Most of what I do is stock removal.
Okay.
I do attempt to forge as much as I can, but I don't actually have one. So like last weekend, I was down at a friend's forge, just having a forge party with a couple other makers, and we were trying to do canister Damascus that time, and the next time we'll pick like a blade type we're going to all try to make, or a billet we're all going to try to forge out, or something to line everybody up, and then we'll all go after that. So last weekend was canister Damascus, and I brought scraps from all of the Damascus I'm doing and stuff, and we forged out billets. I don't actually own a forge, so I'm not really well versed in it and practiced, but I can do all my profiling, and I can get probably a 60% bevel with the hammer, and I've done forge welding and that kind of stuff. So I'm always trying to increase that side of the house, but it's not what I do primarily. Most of what I do is stock, starting from a billet.
Okay. And with the Jarl, I'm infatuated with that knife, by the way. I think it's going to be a big hit. I love it.
Thank you.
What the hell are we doing, Joe?
No, I'm showing people because for some reason they couldn't get. This is the website. This is the YouTube page, guys. So if you guys have trouble finding it, it's very easy. TH Bladecraft. You could go find it right there. All right.
Well, and here's what I'll do. I've got a lot of videos lined up for this weekend. I'll do a few shout outs for you, Tyler. And while I'm speaking of shout outs, guys, Charles Jones, the Redneck Nerd, and Grugsy are real close to milestones. Make sure we get their links up, please. Because the bigger presence you can have, I want you to be so booked up. Are you going to, how much longer do you have before retirement from the Army?
Well, 2027 is when I hit 20 years.
Okay.
So we're
it's coming. That's right around the corner.
Yeah, before you know.
Can you guys hear me?
And I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So I want you to be booked up because I like your work. From what I've seen on Instagram, I like your passion. I like the methodology you use behind it. It's obviously something deeper than just making a knife. We lost Tyler, but he'll be back. There he is. So we'll do some shout outs and things like that. Tell me this. Where do you want to go with this? How far?
Well, when I started really pushing in like 2014 or so to try to get better at this, I said, I have a very unique position I'm in. And
I have to come back.
Wait for him to come back.
Carl Ruger's in the house. Good
What's
to see him
up,
there.
Carl?
We'll get it up. We'll get it going. Tyler's going to be right back. Addicted to Blades, John Howard. All right, take off again, Tyler. We got you.
Hey, I wish I could do something about this, guys. I'm sorry.
Brother, listen. Don't
worry
listen.
about it.
It is what it is. We're glad you're here. We'll just persevere. That's what we do.
Yeah, so I found myself in a unique position where I don't do it to keep the lights on, right?
Right.
So I can focus on things differently. And that's why I do stuff like the Jarl, right? That is very not cost effective to spend the amount of time I do designing it and continually refining it and talking about it and all this other stuff. It's not making me any money. I'm just dumping time and effort into it,
Right.
right? But I can, because I don't depend on it, to feed my family and stuff. And so I can work on building a brand and be intentful about making it me, and be a little more, or excuse me, a little less risk adverse, right? Uh,
Mhm.
and so I really try to maximize that right now. And I'd like to take it as far as I can.
Yeah.
What I'm going to really have to do is take a hard look in the mirror when it comes time to retire and say, well, how big did I build it? How feasible is
Right.
this? Feed my family and take care of things. And if it's not there, that's okay. I'm not trying to force this to be an unnatural thing. I'm me making my stuff, and I'm doing it to the very best of my ability at all times. If it's not what's going to pay my bills when I retire, I'm still going to make knives. It's probably going to slow down a lot, right? Because I'm going to have to focus
Yeah.
on transitioning and whatever's next and that kind of thing. But I'm pretty sure I'll always make knives. But until it's time to retire, I'm just going to keep driving to try to make it as big as I can.
Well, we'll help with that. Here's what's kind of crazy. I'm in the same position as far as like in this knife review world, right? I love doing this. I put a lot of time and effort, but it doesn't pay the bills,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of work to get there. And I have a job. So
Yeah.
I'm fortunate in that regards. Do you ever find yourself, do you ever just go, this is what I want to do? Is there any, I guess what I'm saying is, do you ever get frustrated in that? Because you are definitely a skilled craftsman. Your work is obviously gets better. Is there any like anticipation of, hey man, I want to jump into this now, or are you pretty centered? Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Oh, it makes perfect sense. I'm also uniquely lucky that I love my full-time job too, right? So I
Yeah.
get to be a sole.
Guys, for those of y'all that don't know or just coming in, I saw you talking, Carl. That's funny. For those of you guys that don't know, Tyler is in the Army. He has served. He is serving now, which is awesome. Go right ahead.
Hey, so it's like every time I go to answer a question, the internet's like, nope.
I know.
Yeah, man. So I'm
That might
really
be the Army going, no.
yeah. I'm real lucky because my full-time job's awesome, and my hobby is also awesome.
Right.
So I get to
Yeah.
a point where I wish I had more hours in the day. I get to a point where I wish I had more hours of being focused and attentive and present. But I never get to a point in the day where I'm like, I wish I could be done with either of these to go do something else.
Yeah.
Right.
Uh,
The thing is, you're very talented, Tyler. I mean, from seeing, even like you sent me a couple of pictures from some of the knives that you made. So if you want, I can share them on the screen and we
Yep.
can talk about them a little bit. I should do that now. I mean, your stuff is great. It looks beautiful. It's flawless. I mean, the handles, everything looks great. I love the way you work with the Damascus and all that. Let me actually try to share that onto the screen. Here it is.
You also plan on sending a blade your guys' way so you can do your thing with it.
That'd be awesome of you. Yeah, we'd love to. I mean, but I'm looking at some knives here. I guess just talk us
Oh,
through. I
that's
mean, let us know
gorgeous,
what you
man.
have here.
Yeah, so this is the Orion. This is like my flagship model. It was my first design. This is its second version. So I made 9 of these, and then they didn't look anything like this. And they were all a little different. Like I said, everything I used to make used to be kind of one of one, right? But I was calling it the Orion because it was supposed to be a hunting knife, and that was what I wanted it to be. So as I started to refine that design and understand better what the ergonomics are and what the weight balance is and so on and so forth, I said, well, instead of
That is while
That is a
Tyler's
really
coming back in. Oh
that is
my
a really
God,
nice looking knife.
I love the handle on that. I tell you, I know he said a hunting knife, but I see there's a lot going on there. That's a badass design, man. I see
so
a hunting knife, I see a camp knife, I see a combat knife, I see a lot of things.
There's a lot of things in it. Yeah.
there it is, man. So did you guys? I'm not sure where you cut off, but I made 9 of the original Orions, right? And instead of making a 10th one, I made this knife, which is the second version of the Orion. And I called it the Orion 10 or the Orion X and all this other silly shit before I realized it's just the Orion and it is what it is, right? But what I did, I finally, I don't know if you guys can see behind me, but this in my flag here is the Orion profile.
Okay.
And what I do with this design is I have 3 grinds I do. So off the spine, the original Orion just has a 45-degree swedge. Then that's like the original grind. Then there's this grind that you have on your screen, which I call the fighter grind, where I plunge off the spine deep. And then I try to get those plunge lines to meet basically as quick as I can. And that lightens the blade up and it gives it that long diamond geometry from the tip, like a fighting knife would need to have,
Right.
But it keeps all the rest of the shape. The profile is the same. The spine grind is different.
Right. Tell us the materials. Like, what did you use for the
Yeah.
steel, the handle? Like, tell us a little bit about the materials you use for this knife.
So this one's 52-100 steel,
which is I love. That's great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Try to always use 52-100 if I'm doing carbon, right? Just a mono steel carbon.
Mhm.
I feel like I get a better heat treat. I get a better edge. It's crispier for me than if I go with 1095 or 80 CRB2 or whatever else. And then I do the gun blue because I can force a patina, and I can neutralize it easily. So I get that nice darkened blade, or I can not take it as dark as this one, and it'll have some of that swirling pattern and some blue in there. This 52-100 with a gun blue finish. That one has Claro walnut scales, ivory G10 liner, and then black G10 pins.
Beautiful. Beautiful. But let me actually just move on
It's
to the next
absolutely
one.
phenomenal.
So we got this one here.
I'll tell you what's funny is, ooh, I like that. Hey,
Yeah.
Tyler, what's kind of funny is one of the guys in the comments who's seen their fair share of combat, that's the first thing they said on the Orion was that looks like a combat knife, but it looks like a catch-all knife too. But it's I tell you, this design right here, what's the blade length on this?
That one's 3 1/4 inch blade. This is the Wayward design.
So that's a perfect pocket. That's like a perfect pocket fixed blade.
This one I built because I wanted to make the biggest fixed blade that I could feasibly everyday carry.
Right.
So it's like 7 3/4 inch, I think, overall.
Right.
So it's not a big knife, but fixed blades, as we all know, are challenging to daily carry. They don't do this for us. They stay that full length. Right. So that's hard to figure out where you're gonna move with it. How do you sit? How do you get in and out of your car or your work or whatever else? And so I built this knife just to try to make the biggest EDC I could feasibly still really actually carry. So, and it's got that continuous radius across the whole spine to try to make the sheath be on a 160-degree angle from center on the handle, because that when you wear it, that'll push the handle out of the way of your kidney or your ribs, right? Or if it's in your pocket, it'll push it out of the way of catching on your.
I mean, this is very well done. I love. He's got a lot of things going on. He's got that's probably ivory. That's probably G10. That's probably the walnut. He's got a lot of things
Yeah.
going on this handle.
I like that slight. I like the slight forward cant there.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. I mean, that's just real. I love the handle. I love the shape. There's
Thanks,
a lot
man.
you can do with that knife. Well, I'm really, man. I'm not just blowing smoke. I really like your designs. I like the fact that you seem to focus on handles. I love the whole setup. You thought these through.
Yeah.
And that's evident here. Really enjoying that.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's just badass. That's something that I would carry every day.
That's yeah, definitely.
And a lot of it too. Yeah. Well, that could that's something, Joe, that you could wear high on a belt. Like seriously, like if you were even where you're at, you could wear it back and it would be comfortable and you could carry it.
Yeah, no, that's a perfect
dope,
size.
man.
That's the perfect size.
Like that.
Yeah, I'm digging this one.
Yeah.
But I really want to get to your other ones because you sent me a lot of really good knives to show.
Yeah, let's keep moving.
So let's talk about this one here.
I like this.
So in the last couple of years, I have switched my whole thing over to really focusing on my custom work and making those custom builds unique and dramatic and fun, right?
I like the copper inlay there. I love that. And the handles.
Okay, back.
The handle. I'm just telling you, the guy knows how to make a handle. Is that copper inlay, Tyler?
So you got me back now?
Yeah, no, we hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're back.
Hear you a second, sorry. So what this is actually called Sichimai. Sichimai is 7 layers, right? So you have wrought iron, then you have a 100 layer, then you have copper, 80 CRV2, copper, 100 layer Damascus wrought iron.
Wow.
That's the bar stacked. Yeah. Excuse me. So that instead of being an inlay, that copper is a layer through and through. Right?
Okay.
So if you're looking at the blade face like this, like we are now, and you turn it and look at the spine, you'll see 2 wavy copper lines going up.
Gotcha.
So yeah, very specific kind of new thing for me, but I'm doing more and more of it. I get all of this through Coy over at Baker Forge and Tool, and that's been pretty much my favorite new partner in crime with all this stuff. So I almost exclusively go through them now if I can. They're out of North Carolina and they do amazing quality of work and they always take care of me. I've probably bought 15 or 20 bars from them now, and only one of them went south on me and had a delamination. And I was like, oh no, right? Like, this is never supposed to happen. And I didn't expect it. So I reach out and I say, hey, I sent him a picture. My knife delaminated. And he says, what material was it? And I tell him. He doesn't ask me what size it was, right? What length the bar was. That's a big difference. If I got a 6-inch bar or a 15-inch bar, those are hundreds of dollars. What material is it? And then he's like, okay, we're going to send you like a 15-inch bar tomorrow. We're going to do it right now. We just pushed it up to the front of the work queue. And they're like, there's no way. Like, the most outstanding thing you could ever hear. Like, all your problems, sorry, man, got it fixed. That should never happen. It's on its way. So, that's
awesome.
I'm pretty stuck on those guys. Like, it's my favorite material to work with. All the various copper mice and ways they infuse brass, and the team over there is just awesome. So, like, you feel good about buying from them, right?
Well, talk to me about the handles here, the handle scales.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you the same thing.
So this build was trying to take the copper line and incorporate it into the handle. So we did what's called a resin river handle. So that's like wood on the opposite corners, and then the resin will flow through and in between, right?
I see it. Yeah.
But black
Wow.
ash,
Okay.
and then they did various yellow, orange, red to create.
They did a fantastic job. Joe,
Yeah,
go to
that's
the next
really
one
well
while
made.
he can.
Yeah, let me go to the next one here.
It reminds me a little bit of that taupe handle. Now, see, these are the ones. This is something that if I was going to get something like this, I'd want to get something like this from Tyler. This is something that but I would want it to be from a maker that I knew that I trusted. But I love this design. Would this be like a fighter, Tyler? You're back.
You're back. Go ahead. No, I don't hear audio.
You're muted again, buddy.
Wait, let me
Your
try to
mic's
get him
muted.
on. Let me see if I can get him on mute. Oh, there you go.
Okay.
You're back.
Hey.
You're back.
Okay.
There he is.
Oh, we switched up nice.
Scab, I'd ask you, what would you consider
was
this for? Like a
asking you-
fighter? Like a fighter knife? Or
Would this be a fighter?
That was what I'm going after. Yeah. Yep.
See, that's kind of my thing is like from the review standpoint, from our side of it.
Yeah.
Like if you did send a knife, I wouldn't want to know a lot about it until I did it and then discuss with you. I like picking up the nuances. Now, tell me the steel on this one.
Say again.
Give me the steel on this one.
Oh, so this is
Good night, Richard.
This is Chad Nichols. This is XHP core with low layer boomerang cladding on the. It's a Sanmai. So it's all stainless, stainless Damascus and a stainless core. So pretty hard to etch. But Chad Nichols does pretty much the best work I've ever worked with. So whenever I get to do a build from using his steel, I get extra pumped about it.
I think this is the type of knife that you really need to revolve it around and see everything about the spine. I mean, because it looks like a really good piece of work there.
This one was really fun. This was actually a Father's Day gift for a very lucky guy. And I got the handles from Ryan Moeller, who runs Wood by Moeller. So I didn't actually build those. Excuse me. I just built the knife with them. But that's red dyed and black dyed quilted maple. And then G10 black and white layers and spacers and stuff. So the spine shot on this knife was pretty intense.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I like what you're doing with the liners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me actually go to the next one.
Huge fan of this. Yeah.
Oh man, this one's cool.
There we go.
Yeah.
Talk us through the handle on this one first.
This is Masseur birch. So it's birch wood that has a cross cut on it, like an end cut. So you're looking at like what would be the tree rings, yeah. And so that sort of rainbow spectrum of little flecks or bright pieces you see, that's why it's in that shape. And so the shape of where the finger side of the handle is, it has that arch. And so I placed the wood so that the grains would exaggerate that sort of starburst, right? And then it's got copper pin.
What size handle would that be, Tyler?
So I always try to do 4-inch finger side, 5-inch palm side.
Okay.
So almost every handle I make is like, unless it has to be smaller or bigger.
I had Jeremy Boulder Valentine on last night, and he's actually out there near you. And he was saying he does his handles about the same way because of the basic grip. But I like the way I love this design, man. There hasn't been one put up yet that I don't want. Now, is this the same steel?
This is
Seriously, and
anything,
that's unusual for me.
anything you see copper on from me, it comes from Baker Forge and Tool. This one was actually a charity knife, believe it or not. This is for a good cause, and it's still ongoing. This will be raffled to benefit a guy named Louis. He's a ring maker. He got cancer and basically was really fighting for his whole livelihood. So Felix from Something Obscene Company started up an all call for makers to send blades to help for raffle and stuff. So I made this knife to get pulled off to help. His page is called Whatever Louis on Instagram, and he does like custom rings and really nice stuff like that. But he's just been going through it. So that's what this one's about.
Now, can people find that through your page on Instagram? If somebody wants to get into that raffle or whatever.
Yeah. I'm not running the raffle. I just made the blade. I'm waiting for.
Well, I guess. Okay.
I'm waiting for them to start the raffle, and then I'll start posting about it to guide people to it.
And what kind of blade length are we looking at there, bub?
This one's 3-inch blade. It's kind of built like a fish trout knife. So it's supposed to be very thin with a lot of handle. So, if your hand gets slimy, you still have a lot to hold on to. And just a short, thin blade just for, getting inside of wings or guts or whatever else. But then I took that utility design and I dressed it all the way up.
Yeah, you did that. Now, do you do the sheaths as well?
I usually do. I do Kydex though. So I have 3 people who limit my leather through. My primary leather guy is a guy named Pat who lives up in Port Orchard here. His company is PFNG. And if you're ever looking at my page, you'll see I'm constantly trying to stoke that guy because he's awesome. This is like an example here. This is one. I got poor lighting in here, but this is one I just got in from him. It's got and then the one on your screen here, that one's from JRE Industries, and they make.
Joe, pop the next one up, and then we'll go back to the sheath when Tyler comes back. Ooh.
Hey, I'm back.
I like that a whole lot. But we'll catch up on the sheath.
Okay.
We'll catch back up on the sheath, and then we'll discuss this knife. So yeah, let us know who makes that sheath, Tyler, and then we'll jump on this one.
Okay. Yeah, so this sheath is made by JRE Industries. I met them at Blade Show 2017 or something like that. And they make these ready-made sheaths that aren't formed. So I bought the sheath and then I soaked it, put the knife in and wet formed it, and then now you have like a custom fit sheath. So that they're always built to the same quality. They're awesome. You just got to be real careful about making sure your blade height and length fits that sheath. And then all you have to do is wet form it.
Right. Okay. Well, that's dope.
Yeah, I love those guys.
Screw it up. Yeah, that's badass. Joe, go to the next one because I really want to get into this one. All right. Now we're talking. Tell me about this one. Obviously, it's a dagger, boot knife style. We lost Tyler. He'll come back. I like the shit out of this one, Joe. This one reminds me of kind of a boot knife, kind of I'm digging this, man. I love everything about this. That kind of spearhead, that's dope. I like that a lot. Tyler, tell me about this one. If you're there. If you're not, I'll talk about it. This I like handles. I like the overall appearance of this. I like the billboarding there, the TH. Man, that's a good looking knife. Tell us a little bit about this one, Tyler.
Okay. So this was a custom dagger I did for Donnie Harper of Harp Leather. This this is 52-100 steel, and it has like ruby red and olive drab G10 for the handle material.
I'm a monster fan of this, man. Joe, what do you think it is? Now Joe's mic's muted. Everybody's mic's muted. Joe, your mic's muted, buddy.
Okay. In terms of a dagger's concerned, I mean, I love that handle, man. I mean, that looks like an incredibly comfortable handle. I look at that handle. It looks like the same form of the handle like the Scab Stabber. Am I wrong?
Yeah. It's
very
got that
similar.
shape.
Yeah, it's got that shape.
It's got that shape. It really reminds. I like it. I like the handle scales. I think that's what it is. I love a dagger, but I like the handle scales. I think that makes it. It just sets it. I like that.
Hey,
There's
Joe,
a lot you can do with that.
Can you zoom in on the handle?
Yeah, sure I can.
Yeah, so this one, it's all G10. Maybe the picture didn't have the best like lighting for it, but where your index finger wraps.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is all G10 he's saying. You got the right inlays here.
Yeah, but see, you can see that. You can see that now. And I like that. I love that, man. Is that a coffin style hand? I really like that. And Charles, I agree. That blade, that smoky style blade. I mean, this is a. Now, do you have all these on your Instagram as well, Tyler? Because some of these I want to just go back and look at. I like that whole get up.
Yeah, I'm hoping these are on his Instagram because I would like to look at these a little bit more too. But that's a really nice looking blade.
I want to see that in better detail, man. Because there's a lot, depending on the size of that, there's a lot you could do with that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, daggers, for a long time, everybody just considers a dagger a weapon, but there is a lot that can be done with that. I like that. That's a good one, Tyler. We're good on that.
Tyler, your mic is muted, bud.
Yeah,
the magical
signal's getting worse over here for some reason.
Yeah, no, we're
I tell you what,
the last knife, but go ahead.
Well, what I was going to say is we're right at about that hour mark. Do we got another knife to put up?
I think that's the last of the knives that you sent me, Tyler.
Now, Tyler, on your Instagram, because I like YouTube, and I'm going to check out and shout out your YouTube, but I'm a big fan of the Instagram stuff, especially from a guy like Tyler that's this talented. So, guys, if you are on Instagram, go over and follow Tyler. Because I'm definitely. What's the blade length on this one, man?
This one was about 6 inches.
Okay, so it's good size. Good size dagger.
It was about 3 inches of straight blade before the radius starts.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay. That's wicked looking, man. I like that. I like that a lot. Well, Tyler, let's do this, man. Leave us with some parting thoughts. If you're there. Joe, we might have to, I'll tell you what I'd like to do, because I found this to be fascinating. I'd like to bring Tyler back.
Yeah, I think we'll bring him back.
And
because I think that'll be a good idea.
Yeah. And I want to, because here's what I'd like to do. Here's honestly what I'd like to accomplish. I'd like to bring Tyler back, if you're okay with that. And then do a little more, maybe a little more Q&A stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because I've found this fascinating, and Tyler's a guy who's learned and is willing to pass that on. Your mic's muted, buddy.
Unmute.
We've also got to get him. We've also got to get Tyler's technical skill up. Tyler,
Yeah.
would you be willing to come back? Because I'd love to have you back and do more of an in-depth type deal.
Yeah.
And that'll give us a chance to work some of this out. But
well, I'm all about it. What I do the next time we do this is I would just take it mobile and go somewhere where I have signal. In my house, I don't have the best signal, and I'm trying to connect to the Wi-Fi through a brick wall right now.
Brother, you're fine.
So
I appreciate you taking the time.
I'd love to do this more, and especially I think it'd be more valuable to everybody in the audience if it's not constantly hiccuping. I mean, you guys do a great job of patching it in, but for what it's worth, yeah. What I'd really like to do is maybe, get somebody like you were talking about, some new makers that have questions and stuff. Maybe actually select and prep someone so they get a minute to put some questions together, and I'd be glad to hammer that out with them. And then if you want to talk, I got to get it laid out to you guys. I think the way I'd like to do it is like send it to you, Joe, so you can check it and see it, review it, and then you can send it to Scab so he can beat the hell out of it. If we do it the other way around, it might be a little weird.
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
Yeah. And I'll tell you,
that's just what I was thinking.
And that works because nobody's going to show it like Joe can show it and give it its proper due. That's just the truth. But let's do this. Let's set that up. Let be in the next couple of weeks, because you and I need to do a blade talk where it's just us. But let's try to get Tyler in the next couple of weeks. We'll get Captain Electro Gerbs. There's several guys that are willing to get in that are always asking questions. We could put a whole show together that way. That would be pretty kick-ass, because it helps us too as reviewers. I have to feel like it does the more knowledge we have.
All right, I'm back in.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it'll be more constructive. I think if we kind of advertise the next time we meet, which is getting a lot of people who are into the craft or are looking to get into the craft. And I know there's a lot of people in the room, including Gerbs. Captain was in here earlier. I think he had to go back to work, but there's a lot of people who are interested in the craft and how to get into it. And, basically just everyone's looking at that point where they're looking for feedback as far as how they get started. They have the passion. They're doing it for the right reasons. I think they're all doing it because they love knives and they want to be able to do their own. Okay. And have that joy of saying, I made this, type of thing. I don't think anybody in this room is saying, I want to make $1 million tomorrow with this. They want to make knives. So I think it'll be great if you can get that feedback in with your experiences. And we could have like a roundtable, like comment, answer, conversation about it.
Yeah, man. That'd be awesome.
I like that. I like that a lot. Let's do that.
Yep. So we're going to start closing it off, but I love what we see here. Your knives are beautiful. I think you got a talent, buddy, and I think you should definitely go full steam ahead with this. You're doing a good job.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you the truth, I'm glad you're going to send one. I was going to actually, and I don't ever do this, I was going to ask if you'd send one, you would send it back. So I'm glad you're going to do that, because I think that Joe and I can help you a lot with doing it, just getting it out there.
Yeah.
Putting your name out there.
That's just
I'm
never
excited about that.
And I've looked into like both of your pages and the stuff you're doing, and I appreciate both your approaches. So, I think it'll be good to get some critical feedback and hard use and analyzing of the product and everything else too, right? Because that helps me get better.
Of course.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's good all around, man.
Well,
other than I guess I don't have good signal to run this for more than a couple of minutes at a time.
Yeah, no worries, man.
You're good, brother. You're good, man. Hey, thank you for being on. We'll get this scheduled up, guys. Thank you for being with us. Joe, close us out, man.
All right, guys. Listen, thank you for sticking with us with all the technical issues and stuff. But I think, all in all, I think it's if we did anything at all, we introduced a really good knife maker. You obviously see he's got some really beautiful pieces here. You guys know where to find him on Instagram. It's been rolling throughout the whole live. You guys know his website. It's the same name as his Instagram page. So definitely go out. Let's support Tyler. Let's try to um, get him some views and stuff, and yeah, give him support and help him keep going. But yeah, he's got some great stuff, and I really want to see you be successful. And looking forward to getting one of your pieces, having in my hand, and revolving around a little bit, and getting you on again. And maybe we'll just do like a Q&A type of live with some people who are interested in getting into the craft. I think that would be fantastic.
I like it.
All right,
guys.
That's it.
Good night.
Have a good night, guys. Thanks for joining us on Blade Talk. Tyler, thank you for joining us. Thanks for your time. And we'll definitely do this again very soon. Have a good night,
Good
Scab.
night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, buddy.
Hang back, Scab.